Hello and welcome back to my channel. It's the first of the month today, which means I am doing my monthly money reset routine. I've been doing this routine once a month for the past few years and I wanted to take you guys along with me today. It's just important to have these little dedicated times throughout the month to check in with your finances. Have a habit to check in with my budget and track my spending once a week, but then at the end of every month, I kind of check in with my finances more holistically between my budget, my savings, my investments, all of that. So that's what we're doing in today's video. This little reset routine doesn't take a lot of time. I typically carve out like an hour of my day on the first day of every month to do this from the last month, but I wanted to film this video today, and today is also Friday, and on Fridays I like to spend an hour or two doing my Friday reset. So I carved out the entire day today. I don't think we'll need all day. Again, I typically spend an hour on my money reset and an hour on Fridays doing my Friday reset. We're going to do it at the beginning of the day today just so I can set up the rest of the day to be super productive when I'm done with all of this. So with that being said, let's start with the Friday reset and then we're going to get into the monthly money reset as well. Okay, let's get into my Friday reset. I probably spend a good hour and a half to 2 hours every single Friday doing this Friday reset, and I know what you're thinking, like who has 2 hours on a Friday just to do a reset? But about an hour of this is on my computer, so if you work on a computer, this is something that you can do on your Friday as well. And the first half of this is cleaning my entire apartment, which I set a 1 hour timer for, so if you work from home, you could do it over your lunch break or even in the afternoon when you do get home from work if you want to do it before the weekend gets started. But Friday resets are so much better than Sunday resets because going into the weekend with a clean space and a cleaned out computer and all of the things just makes you have such a better and more productive weekend. I've been doing this for a couple of months now and it has honestly changed my life. So we are going to set a 1 hour timer on my oven. I hate cleaning more than anything. I'm not good at just cleaning up a little bit here and there throughout the week. So by the end of the week, my apartment, it's looking like a disaster right now. Setting a 1 hour timer definitely helps me because it helps me feel like there's an end in sight. I don't feel like I'm aimlessly cleaning and get super overwhelmed. Okay, I'm spending an hour doing this and by the end of it, it'll be done. Then the other thing I do to make myself not hate this Friday reset so much is I turn on a podcast, a 1 hour long podcast, and I have a 1 hour timer set. So the hour honestly flies by. So I need to pick a podcast episode to listen to. I love listening to podcasts, but I also hate sometimes when I can't find one to listen to. I'm going to listen to an episode from the Mel Robbins podcast. I've been loving this podcast lately. This is called Want to Be Happier Right Now. Don't Make This Mistake. New Surprising Science.
But if you had to take a vacation to the list, because you should, plan your trip and all you
The amount of laundry that I have to put away right now actually isn't even funny. It was one of my 2024 resolutions to put my laundry away as soon as it's out of the dryer, instead of literally just picking my clean clothes out of the dryer when I'm picking out an outfit for the day. But I probably have 3 bins of clean laundry right now that I have not put away yet, so that's what we're going to do today. My hour cleaning is definitely up and I always feel so much better when I'm done with my little Friday reset because again, I can go into my weekend, my space is clean. Me enjoy the weekend so much more rather than waiting until Sunday and then just feeling like my life is kind of everywhere. So we're spending about an hour today doing a little life and money reset. We're resetting from last month and making sure we're all prepped and ready to go for next month. I have a couple things here on my to-do list today. First is going to be checking in with last month's spending and kind of making sure that's all squared away before I inevitably move into the next month's tab in my budget template. I'm going to be checking in on all of my savings and my investments today and moving some money around. Some of my savings and investments are automated, but then some of them I have to manually transfer into the different accounts. So we're going to be doing that today. And last, I like to do a little life reset as well at the end of every month. I've become such a Notion girl over the past few months. I've created a Notion planner template that honestly helps me organize every aspect of my life. Use Notion for my daily, weekly, monthly planners. I have a page to set my monthly goals and then kind of reflect on how the month ended up, whether I hit my goals and all of the things. I have a page to track all of my annual goals, habit trackers. I do all of my content stuff in Notion, so I have a content calendar, really just everything. I'll walk you through what it looks like, but then I also will show you how I kind of spend just 10 to 20 minutes really just cleaning up my Notion template so that I'm all prepared for next month. That's what we have on the to-do list today, so let's get into it. I'm gonna keep you guys kind of on the side over here while I talk through all of this stuff, but we're gonna start in my budget template. This is the template that I use throughout the month to organize all of my finances. I do a really good job of keeping up with this template throughout the month, logging all of my transactions as I'm spending on them. But at the end of the month, I still do like to come in here and take a little bit of time to kind of analyze all of my transactions, see how much money I spent, and then we see how much money I have left over. Ultimately, that's what gets divvied up between all of my savings saving and my investing goals. This is the monthly budget planner tab. So this is the tab where I create a budget. I don't really have to do anything with this every single month. I sort of just create one budget and then it applies to all of the months. If something drastic happens in my budget, like my rent increases or something like that, I will come in here and kind of like update those numbers. But for right now, I don't need to make any updates. So then we're going to come into the January tab, and this is where I'm logging all of my transactions throughout the month. So every single week I come in here and I spend 10 minutes just like logging all of my transactions into this spreadsheet. And then the rest of this tab is just a ton of data comparing like what I budgeted and then what I actually spent in all of my different categories. I did post an entire video a couple days ago on my January spending recap where I walked through all of my transactions and kind of recapped how much I spent. So if you're interested in that, I will link that in the description. But we're just gonna look at this little like cash flow summary here. So I haven't logged any of my savings or my investments yet because that's what we're doing in today's video. As you can see, the spread between my income and my expenses is about $2,600, which is pretty good. I did a decent job of staying within budget this month. My wants were a little bit high. I took a trip, so that kind of like plays into that. But I still have $2,600 to work with, so I'm super happy about that. Let's take a look at how I want to allocate this $2,600 between my savings and my investments. I will say on the savings side, I already have a fully funded emergency fund. That was a big savings goal a couple of years ago. At this point, it's not a priority for me to keep funding that emergency fund because I'm already comfortable with the amount that it's at. So I would say right now, my biggest priority is investing into my brokerage. These monthly investing goals don't count any of my retirement investments because those are pre-tax, so they don't typically get included in your budget. So I do fund a solo 401k. It's kind of the same thing as a 401k, but since I'm self-employed, it's called like a solo 401k. But I fully fund that. I maxed it out for the year. And then these are my monthly post-tax investing goals. My brokerage account investing, again, is my highest priority here. I definitely want to make sure I'm hitting this $1,000 a month into my brokerage account. But then after that, I do have a goal here to invest into my Finalize account as well. I do have 750 here as the monthly goal, and I will say I almost never hit the 750. But if I have a little bit of extra money after hitting my other investing goals, my savings goals, then I'll pour a little bit of money into my Finalize account as well. So let's start there with my investment account. I'm going to go to my brokerage account website. I use Charles Schwab. So I'm going to go to that website and show you guys how I deposit money and then what I invest into. Here we are in my Charles Schwab account. In Charles Schwab, I have a Roth IRA and a brokerage account. I'm not currently contributing to my Roth IRA because I am over the income limit, but I do still contribute to my brokerage account every month. But I do like that I can see both my Roth IRA and my brokerage kind of like all in one dashboard. You're going to go into my individual brokerage account. This is what it looks like, and this looks totally overwhelming for someone that like isn't super familiar with what an investment account looks like. But essentially this is just showing me like all of the stocks, ETFs, index funds that I hold within my brokerage account. Again, even that looks overwhelming because there's like a lot of different things here. But reason being is because I've been investing in this account since I really started learning about investing. And when I was first getting started, I didn't know much about like broad market index funds or the fact that you can really just buy like a couple of funds and be totally fine for your entire portfolio. I bought like a couple individual stocks. I've bought more than this. I've like sold some of them. But honestly, after learning a lot more about how index funds and ETFs work, the only two ETFs that I'm really purchasing right now are VT and VTI. VTI being a total US stock market ETF and VT being a total world stock market ETF. So literally just by buying these two funds, I'm getting diversified into the entire US stock market and the entire world stock market, so every other country outside of the US. But like I said, I want to be investing $1,000 into my brokerage account this month, so I'll show you guys how I do that. I will say if you're a beginner, Charles Schwab probably isn't the most user-friendly platform I've ever seen. Even like Fidelity is a bit more user-friendly. This is just like kind of a lot. So you would just come up here and click move money, transfers and payments, online transfer, and then cash only from is going to be your bank account. I have my bank accounts listed, so I'm just going to like choose that. But then under two, you're going to click that you're like contributing the money to the brokerage account. Then you just enter your cash amount. So I'm going to transfer $1,000, hit submit. So under my account summary, you can see automatically the cash and cash investments have increased by $1,000. So now I have this amount to purchase investments with. I'm just going to buy all VTI today. So I'm going into the VTI ETF. Again, this is a total US stock market ETF. Clicking buy, then we're going to hit market, and the quantity is going to be 4 because I want to purchase about $1,000 worth of this ETF. So that was me placing the investment. Now I'm going to log that into my transactions log. So I'm going to come here, investment, brokerage account, $1,000. Let's talk through the savings transfers. I'm not going to pull this up because it's a little bit hard to hide all of your account numbers when you're like inside of your checking and savings account. But essentially I have my checking and my savings accounts with Capital One. Capital One has high yield savings accounts, so I open a separate high yield savings account for each of my savings goals. I have a vacations fund, a holiday fund, and a car insurance and maintenance fund. And I don't currently have these automated just because I'm kind of like playing around with the numbers right now. You can automate them and it's super easy to do through Capital One, and that can be like an entire separate video on its own. So at this point, I'm just going to go into my checking account and transfer $400 into my vacation fund, $200 into my holiday fund, and $150 into my car insurance and maintenance fund. And then once I do that, I'm going to come in here and log all of those so that it tracks. The last one here is my home down payment fund. This one is not with Capital One. This is with a Foyer savings account, and that is a first time home buyer savings account. They do have the option to do automated transfers, but honestly, sometimes I like all of this being manual because it forces me to do this monthly reset routine, check in on my investment accounts and check in on all of my savings goals and everything like that. So we are going to transfer $500 to my home down payment savings as well. That leaves me with $396. I think I'm going to leave this in my checking account right now and just sort of see like what I want to do with the extra money. My vacation savings, I would like to beef up a little bit because I have a lot of trips coming up. So I might put a couple $100 extra into my vacation savings, but I'm just going to leave this in my checking account for right now. Now the fun stuff, let's get into our life reset as well. The money reset honestly didn't take that much time because again, I am coming into my budget template every single week and making sure I'm tracking all of my spending. So by the time the end of the month rolls around, there's honestly not that much work that needs to be done. But for the life reset portion, again, here we are in my Notion planner template. I'm gonna show you guys kind of just like an overview of how I use this template to organize my life, but then also how I reset this template. So making sure that I'm like cleaning it up a little bit just to like be ready for the next month. This is the dashboard here, and I would just like to say if you're interested in either this planner template or my budget template, I'm going to link both of those templates in the description of this video. I love my templates so much. They help me so much, and it seems like they help you guys so much. Over 20,000 people have purchased my budget template over the past year, but that's just my little plug if you are looking for a tool that helps you. This is the dashboard in my Notion planner. This just has like the links to all of my different tabs and then a master calendar as well. And then this master calendar also links to a bunch of different calendars like within the template. Here I just kind of use this for a mix of like work and life and try to label them all like what they are. I'm not the best at keeping up with the calendar. My Google Calendar is always a mess, so I try to like organize everything into here. I think the daily planner is my favorite tab of this template. This is definitely the tab that I spend the most time in. There's a little section here to map out your ideal day, and then this button here creates a new daily plan. So you can easily create a new daily planner every single day without having to go in and like manually delete all of the information from the prior day. And then you can just kind of like delete these when you're done with that. Sometimes I like to keep a couple older days in there just in case I need to like reference any, but this is what the daily planner looks like. There's a little daily journal. So every day I try to come in here and like journal every morning. And these journals have a daily journal prompt. So you can just write like what inspires you, what you're thankful for. And you can change these prompts as well. If you want the button to like populate different things, you can like obviously customize it, but that is the daily journal. And then I time block my calendar. So I'll write out my schedule, keep a running to-do list, all of the things. So I'm going to make sure all of these are cleaned out. Then we're going to leave this one in here for today because I need to fill this out for my tasks for the rest of the day. This is the weekly planner, and I actually didn't fill this out this week, so there isn't much to kind of like reset with it, but sometimes this gets literally so messy. This running to-do list populates with absolutely everything that's in this master calendar. You can come in here and filter this to when the date is empty, which I really like to do because then it allows me to use this kind of as like a running to-do list for things that I haven't blocked into my day yet. Things that I know that I need to get done, but I just like have not accounted for in my schedule yet. Then again, there's a button here so you can add a new week. This is what a new week looks like. So you have this week's focus, the weekly goals and intentions. I added this for like content this week because I'm obviously a content creator. Your meal plan, your workout plan, and then your entire week's kind of like overarching to-dos. So this is good if it's like a Monday and you know you need to do something on Friday, you can just like jot it down really quick so that when you go into the daily planner, you know what you need to like fill out in the daily planner. Moving into the monthly planner, the monthly calendar is here so you can see everything you have to do that month. Then here is where you're setting your monthly goals and your end of month review. So I obviously did fill out my goals at the beginning of January, but now we're going to spend a little bit of time just kind of like doing the end of month review and recapping on the month. At the beginning of January, I listed that my goals were to film and post one YouTube video, which I actually think I filmed 3 YouTube videos this month, so that was a win. Finalized my Valentine's Day event, which I did do. Create one Notion budget template to sell, so I didn't get to this month. I started kind of like mapping out the layout for my Notion budget template, but again, the only template that I currently sell is the one that's on Google Sheets and Excel. And then finalize my office setup. I just like flat out did not get to that this month. Then for the end of month review, this is where you sort of come in here and just like reflect on the month and see how things ended up. I feel like it's really helpful to kind of like walk through this before you set your goals for February or like whatever the next month is. I'm going to spend a little bit of time thinking through kind of like what worked for me and like what I want to set my goals for the month of February. Let's spend a little bit of time creating February goals as well. So if you want to make a new card, just come in here and hit monthly goals. And then we're just gonna fill out the top 3. So really thinking through like what I want to do in February this year. I said my top 3 goals for this month were 1, to hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube. And I said posting 4 long form videos and 20 shorts videos. My goal for the end of Q1 this year is to grow to 10K on YouTube, because my goal for 2024 in general is to grow to 100K. Next, I want to sell 150 tickets to my Valentine's Day event. I'm throwing a big Valentine's Day event in Pittsburgh. That's the city that I live in. It's obviously an all women's event. We're doing a big like yoga class and brunch afterwards. Brands are getting involved. Small businesses are coming and like setting up tables. I've sold, I think, 75 tickets so far, and the event is capped at 200. But I would be happy with at least like 150 girls there. And then I want to grow the podcast to 3,000 listens per episode. I think we're averaging right now like 2,200 an episode. So I think the 3,000 is definitely doable. I'll just quickly show you some of the other pages in this Notion template. Nothing to like reset with the rest of that. I have this tab here for future you. I have like all of my 2024 goals here sorted by the 3 kind of overarching like topics that I want to focus on. I have my vision board here, and I'm making it a point to like every quarter come in and update this vision board. My yearly goals, and then I have this little like quarterly goals check-in here as well, so I can come in at the end of every quarter and like check in on how my goals are going. Then I have a page for habits and routines. My daily journal is linked here. Workout inspiration, so I link all of my favorite workouts like YouTube videos and things like that. A habit tracker, so every week I can come in and create a new habit tracker. Admittedly, I've not gotten to this section yet, but you can link like recipe ideas and like books and podcasts you're listening to and all. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, just kind of seeing how I'm taking a few hours to myself at the end of every month, resetting my money, resetting my life, and using things like my budget template and my Notion template to kind of help me do so. Lately, I've just been getting super into routines like this, whether it be like my money routine, my life routines to keep me organized, because I am not inherently an organized person. These are my favorite types of YouTube videos to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one as well. If you did like this video, please like and subscribe. It would mean the absolute world to me. And let me know in the comments what you guys would like to see from me on YouTube. I make a ton of content over on TikTok and Instagram on like personal finance, productivity, career, but I'm still kind of finding like my place here on YouTube and figuring out what type of content I want to create and what type of content you guys want to see from me. So let me know in the comments what types of videos you would like for me to make in February.